We wrap up the season with this little rhyme. An old team becomes a new one in time. Affiliation deals with new teams galore. Divisions all have a new look in store. As 2017-18 approaches, we'll check mailing addresses for some veteran coaches, the commissioner, a president, and the Kelly Cup champs, but nothing about next year's training camps. If it's info and news and numbers you seek, join us as we wrap up Season 5 of ECHL Week.
Since the Kelly Cup was awarded to the Colorado Eagles on June 5th, lots has taken place throughout the ECHL. So as we wrap up one season and prepare for another, the 30th in league history, let's take a look at everything you need to know heading into what will be a very brief summer. Although the Alaska Aces have completed their ECHL run, the membership that was the Aces will live on. The ECHL's Board of Governors has approved a transfer of the operation and location of the Aces. The new owner of the team is Comcast Spectacor. Starting in October 2018, its home will be the Cross Insurance Arena in Portland, Maine. Comcast Spectacor, part of Comcast Corporation, owns, among other businesses, the NHL's Philadelphia Flyers. A team based in Portland competed in the American Hockey League from 1977 through 2016. First known as the Maine Mariners, that club became the only one in the history of the AHL to win Calder Cup titles in its first 2 seasons. The next version of the club, the Portland Pirates, competed in the AHL from 1983 through 2016. We are very excited to bring ECHL hockey to Portland, said ECHL Commissioner Brian McKenna. The city has a long and rich hockey tradition. In addition, Comcast Spectacor has a history in the market and is an ideal partner to reintroduce professional hockey to southern Maine. It's too early to know about an NHL affiliation for the Portland club. A team statement says this move has no effect on the Flyers' current ECHL affiliation with the Reading Royals. A membership move wasn't the only thing on Commissioner McKenna's plate recently. ECHL Week caught up with the commissioner and asked him about the upcoming season and beyond. 2 new entries into the league next year in Worcester, Massachusetts and Jacksonville, Florida. Everything looking good as far as those teams are concerned?
Yeah, we're very happy with what we see in Worcester, announced over a year ago. So they've had staff in place, been working hard there, not only behind the scenes, but very in-depth in the community in terms of over 175 mascot appearances, full staff and working to sell tickets and sponsorships over the past year, and have developed a real presence in that marketplace, so we're excited about that. And then more recently, the announcement of Jacksonville, Florida, and a market that we're returning to after a couple of decades, but a new facility down there, relocating the old Evansville/Owensboro Icemen to Jacksonville to begin play in the fall. A nice addition for our Southern Division in terms of another rival for Orlando, another rival for South Carolina, and the other teams in the South, which is good. And I think they're also going to be a very competitive team right from the get-go with the recent coaching announcement, and we feel very good about that marketplace. A lot of work still to do between now and the time the puck drops in October, but they're working hard to make sure it's a very successful start there as well.
Speaking of adding markets, one thing fans are always interested about and ask me when I go around, I imagine they might ask you too, is looking at the future and where we might look for teams in the future and how that ties into the fact that there's going to be 31 teams in the National Hockey League next year, and the goal, the plan was that there would be an American Hockey League team and an ECHL affiliate team for every NHL team. Is that still something that's on the burner at this point?
Well, I guess in an ideal world we would like to get there, but right now the goal as set out by our Board of Governors is still 30 for our level, and we have 28, 27 that'll be active again next year. But we're being very, I guess, deliberate in terms of our look to the future there. We want to make sure that rather than just expanding, try to get to 30, we still have a number of markets in our league currently that we'd like to see do better. We want to make sure that if we do go into any new markets in the future, that the market will work, that we've got a great facility to be able to present ECHL hockey, and also an ownership group that's committed for the long term. And unless all of those factors are in place, then again, we're better to hold or keep our powder dry, I guess, and stick with what we got, the 27-28 range, rather than expanding for the sake of expanding. It is a long-term goal, but again, at this point, I think we're being pragmatic in terms of how quickly that we get there.
Although it hasn't been long since the season ended, there have already been many changes throughout the league. Let's look at a few. As it stands now, there will be 5 teams with new head coaches for the 2017-18 season, and all 5 have ECHL experience. Jason Christie, who in the second game of the upcoming season will become the all-time leader in number of games coached in the league, will be Jacksonville's first bench boss. Daniel Tatro moves to the head coaching position from an assistant's spot with the Rapid City Rush, a team with which he spent his final season as a player. Kirk McDonald, a former Royal player, spent the last 3 seasons as Reading's assistant coach prior to taking over as the interim head coach last April 3rd. Rob Murray was head coach in Alaska for the last 6 years, and he'll stay in the Mountain Division as he takes the reins of the Tulsa Oilers. Finally, the brand new Worcester Railers will have Jamie Russell behind their bench this year. Russell coached the Elmira Jackals from 2014 to 16. The 2017-18 season begins on Friday, October 13th.
More changes ahead for next season, plus Joe Ernst pays a visit when ECHL Week continues.
Oh, that's lovely.
So graceful.
The corkscrew spin, flawless. His signature move, the Flying Dutchman. Poetry in motion.
And there it is, the baby bird.
Breathtaking.
A sumo wrestler figure skating? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much money Heather saved by switching to Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
The addition of Jacksonville and Worcester to the ECHL for next season means changes in the divisional alignment. Worcester has been added to the North, which will again be the only division with 6 teams. Jacksonville will move into the South Division. Just as last season, the North and South will comprise the Eastern Conference. The other 2 divisions will make up the Western Conference. In the Central Division, Cincinnati moves in from the South, and the Mavericks move from the Mountain. Tulsa and Wichita, both in the Central a season ago, will be the new members in the Mountain Division. Qualifications and format of the Kelly Cup playoffs for 2018 will not change. The top 4 teams in each division will qualify. This summer has featured plenty of juggling of affiliations between ECHL teams and their NHL and AHL partners. 7 changes from last season which have already been announced. Cincinnati has signed a deal to team with Buffalo and Rochester. Kansas City will receive players from the Calgary Flames and Stockton Heat. Norfolk will pair with Stanley Cup finalist Nashville and the Predators AHL team in Milwaukee, also known as the Admirals. Quad City will be the first ECHL affiliate for the newest NHL entry, the Vegas Golden Knights. Chicago will be their American League partner. The Rapid City Rush have struck a deal with Quad City's old partners, the Minnesota Wild and Iowa Wild. Meanwhile, the Wichita Thunder now have affiliation agreements with the NHL's Edmonton Oilers and the AHL's Bakersfield Condors. And Worcester has found 2 good geographical fits with the New York Islanders and Bridgeport of the AHL. 3 ECHL teams have yet to announce affiliates for the 2017-18 season, although Fort Wayne operated independently last season and could do so again. Of the 7 NHL clubs without an ECHL partner at this point, 3 of them, Arizona with Rapid City, Ottawa with Wichita, and Vancouver with Alaska, had formal player development agreements with ECHL teams last season.
How do the league's development coaches help game officials improve?
Our officiating development coaches play a key role in the development of our officials. I might be the guy that everybody thinks is doing all the work, but these guys that are in the field helping me out and helping the league out are the guys that are doing a lot of the grunt work. Mike Pierce, Jimmy Doyle, for instance, Jason Rollins. Those guys see a lot of hockey games, develop a lot of officials for us. We try to teach the guys, just in-game stuff. If there's any minor mistakes, to try to tweak them. If they're doing well, we want to do that, but we're no different than a coach on a team. We want to go over things, both good and bad, and we want them to be better every time they step on the ice. So it's not always going to be rosy when we come down and supervise them, but it's part of our job, and it's no different than a coach. That's why I changed the title a few years ago to development coach, because that's what the guys are here to do, is to coach our officials and make them better, both referees and linesmen.
The rights of 20 players were exchanged leading up to the June 13th deadline for completion of future consideration trades from the 2016-17 season. Particularly notable, Wichita added 4 players, including Brabham Cup champion Toledo's second leading scorer on defense, Nolan Zajac, forward Tyler Currier, who had 20 goals while playing with Indy and Wheeling last season, and Dyson Stevenson, a right wing who was a member of the Allen Kelly Cup title teams in both 2015 and 16. Norfolk improved its roster by adding 5 players, including forward Eric Bradford, a member of the mid-season All-Star team in 2017, and Greenville's regular season leading scorer, center Angelo Michelli. And right wing Trevor Mangoya helped to complete 2 deals. Atlanta sent him to Wheeling, which then shipped him to the Admirals. Teams were able to start signing players for the upcoming season a couple days later. Notable on the list of early signees, the first ever player inked by Worcester, goaltender Joe Fallon, who played in the ECHL 5 years ago with Las Vegas when he was in the top 10 in the league in goals against average, save percentage, and victories. He played last season with Dundee in the Elite League. Join over 2,300 others and make sure to follow ECHL Week on Twitter to keep track of player movements and signings all summer long.
We hear from one of the architects of Colorado's Kelly Cup victory straight ahead on ECHL Week.
Of course, it was a special year for the Colorado Eagles. Every year is special when you win a championship. But although the team had never won an ECHL postseason series until this past April, it's not as if the Eagles didn't have a winning tradition. In their 5 previous seasons, Colorado had at least 75 points each year, and the man who was the coach for all 5 of those seasons was Chris Stewart. The current president, general manager, and architect of the ECHL's 2017 playoff champion, Stewart was also the team's first coach back in 2003 when it was part of the now defunct Central Hockey League. In his 11 seasons behind the bench, in 2 leagues, the Eagles finished over 500 every single year. Stuart was, of course, on hand when his team reached its goal of winning a Kelly Cup. We spoke with him about his move away from the bench.
I spent 34 years of coaching. It was very pleasurable, won a number of championships, and it's been a lot of fun. It really has. But I knew it was time to take the next step. And with Aaron Schneekloth kind of being my understudy for a few years, and me having a lot of faith in him, I felt he deserved the opportunity. And man, he's made the guy look good, hasn't he? I think Schneeks has done a great job at teaching these guys the game of hockey the way he wants it teach. He's got everybody on the same page. We've got a lot of speed and skill, and you can't argue with the talent either. We've got a great group of guys, and when it comes down to it, it's the players that get it done.
Stuart recognized the key to the Eagles' run: off-ice contributions from both businesses and fans who filled their arena to 90% of capacity this season.
Oh, the fans came, we drew the players, we recruited the players. I mean, I spent day and night finding the right guys to step on that ice to entertain the fans, and they loved it, and they absolutely loved it. And you know, those dollars and cents added up to a lot. We did a lot in the community. We didn't selfishly keep it for the investors or anything like that. The investors were more than willing to put it back into the community, put it back into cancer. A cancer wing that we have at Banner Health, and UC Health is a big believer of ours. They've been with us since day one. They have sponsored us and taken care of us and guided us in some directions that we never thought we'd be able to afford to go.
After a lengthy career in the sport, Stuart spoke about what he's been able to accomplish.
And developing hockey and watching young players grow and get better, and you know, get what they want out of hockey, to me is really good. And whether it's school or major junior or minor pros to the NHL, well, if they get what they want and they got a smile on their face when they finally put their skates, take them off for the last time, then that's okay. So we've done our job.
We wrap up the season by hearing from some of the Kelly Cup final participants. Next on ECHL Week.
What's the difference between a breakaway and getting caught? Between an odd man rush and being the odd man out? Gaining an extra second. Be ahead of the game.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
This year's Kelly Cup final round, the only sweep of the entire playoffs, was anything but one-sided. It was just the second time in 21 seasons in which every game was decided by a single goal. So let's hear a bit more from some of the competitors, both the Kelly Cup champion Colorado Eagles and the Eastern Conference playoff winners, the South Carolina Stingrays.
This is forever. This is history. Something that no one can ever take it away from you. And, you know, for the amount of, you know, work Chris and I have been through, and for the experience and opportunity he's given me, I mean, I owe this to him. I mean, this is for him. He's been an incredible mentor and just an incredible figure for me. And I'm just so proud to be a part of this organization and work for such an incredible person.
I think there's about 4 of us that have been here for 3 years, so it's pretty special. You know, we had a tough couple losses in the first round, and we felt like we deserved better, and it's just great for those guys. You know, guys like Zimmerman who haven't won a championship in 12 years, and you could see it in their play. So it was a great experience.
I think we had a great core group of guys. I think what I think of is like Bootland, Zahn. We've been here, Mardo. We've been a group for a few years now, and we've always kind of underachieved a little bit, in my opinion. And I think that core foundation, we had guys in and out all year, I think, but the core group kind of stayed the same, and I think that was a big part of it.
You know, we just kind of have a game plan and we go out and do it. As groups of 5, you know, we work really well together, lots of talk, and you know, I just think, you know, keeping our composure is what really helps us win those games and get those late goals and, you know, give ourselves a chance in overtime to win. So as long as you keep our composure and just play our game, we're just fine.
Playing college, you always hear, like, you know, pro's a lot different. You know, guys might not be as close. It's more of a job, but I can't say that was the situation in this team. It just seemed like everyone was, you know, best friends. Everyone believed in each other, and, you know, I think it takes a really tight group to win a championship, and I think that showed.
The main thing is our team's gelled really well. You know, in the room it's a good environment, and it translates on the ice, you know, and we stay positive with it too. If we're down 1 goal, we don't consider ourselves out at any time, and you know, we just keep rolling, and when you stay positive like that, a lot of the times good things happen for you.
We're very happy with the year. You know, we're excited, and from day one we were our focus was bringing the Kelly Cup to Loveland, Colorado.
Roller coaster ride, that's for sure. And you know, we've seen that the past 2 years. You know, you're up, you're down, but this year especially, it seems like we were fighting from behind a lot. But you know, we got it done, coming in from behind in 2 playoff series, down 2-0, and coming back and winning those series and making it to the finals. You know, obviously, we would like a different outcome there in the finals, but you know, it doesn't take away from the fact that we had a great season.
I had a blast this year. You know, we had a great group of guys, great staff. You know, the team did well. Obviously, you know, coming that close and not going all the way is disappointing. I'm sure in a little while from now we'll realize, you know, we had a great year and we accomplished a lot, and we enjoyed it.
Yeah, we had our core group of leaders back, you know, with Galsey and Epper and Pears and Gills and Debs, and you know, we know what the Stingray organization wants, and you know, everyone bought in. We all worked our tails off all playoffs and all season. You know, and from our travel experience that we had, you know, you were on the road with us. They were always interesting, and right from that first day going into when they went up to Alaska for that trip, getting pushed out from a couple days earlier by the hurricane and stuff, fought through a lot of adversity, and a lot to be proud of here.
The men behind the microphones, voices of the ECHL. Today, Alex Reed of the Florida Everblades. In addition to broadcasting, what are your other duties?
Obviously, handle the media and public relations, the community relations appearances, as well as group sales, corporate sales. I'm the team liaison, you know, between the front office and the hockey operations department. I'm assistant equipment manager on the road, it seems, always pulling bags and helping there. So, I mean, anywhere where I can help, I'm willing to do it.
Tell us about a past on-air partner.
DJ Abasella of the Wheeling Nailers, who DJ walked into my office when I was working for the Lewiston Maniacs. He wanted to be he was an aspiring broadcaster, wanting to get his break, and came in, and I gave him an opportunity to kind of be a number 2 guy, and he's been following me around ever since. It's I can't shake the kid, but you know, of course I joke, but yeah, I'll tell you, when you think of DJ, he's a guy, and you hear him on the air, and you get raw emotion when you listen to DJ, and if it sounds like he's upset or he's fired up about something or extremely excited about something, that's exactly what he is at that moment. And you know, that kind of honesty, I know a lot of people in Wheeling appreciate, and but he and I go way back. There's no doubt about it, and I'm so glad that he's gone from that kid that walked into my office so many years ago and to what he's developed into now.
What do you do to prepare for a game?
I think sometimes before I do the coach's interview that goes up on the video board, we'll kind of goof off beforehand, might say some anchorman lines like unique New York or owl now, brown cow, and the suspect had oddly shaped feet, things like that, just to kind of be silly and be funny, but as the character Ron Burgundy was in that movie, but no real routine when it comes to the voice.
Your most memorable moment in the ECHL?
Well, there's no doubt, obviously, the chance to call the Kelly Cup championship game in 2012. It was a packed house at Germain Arena, a Game 5 and a chance to win it, and it was an overtime goal on a perfectly set up play. It was pretty memorable, there's no doubt about it. And I actually had a 3-man crew that night. I had Ernie Hartlieb, and then a former broadcaster in the league who was doing corporate sales for the Everblades, and John Curtis, and 3 of us were up there. And when Brandon McLean put that puck in the net on that perfect 2-on-1 play, I remember I called the goal, and if you go back and watch the clip online, you hear nothing but screaming, and that's Ernie and John. And at that point, I remember them jumping up and down and hugging, and I remember turning their mic off so I could belt out the rest of the call, and they didn't even know that I did that, but I just wanted to get it out. But it was a special moment, one that I'll never forget. It's an opportunity that I think anyone would love to have a chance to have presented to them, and I was fortunate enough to be able to do that. And
that puts a wrap on the 5th season of ECHL Week. We appreciate that you've watched our show this year and remind you that you can stay up to date with all of the league's happenings by looking at our social media channels at any time. We leave you today with a look at some of the sights recorded during this season's Kelly Cup Finals. Until next time, have a safe and wonderful off-season.